This year, I read 31 books, and here is what I've learned. I'm also in progress of reading another book, so I don't know if it'll end up being 32 since there's a week left in the year, but this is probably the most amount of books I've ever read in a year and how it's impacted me. All right, so just an introduction. This year, I really decided to go outside of the usual genres that people in business recommend. So I hear a lot of business book recommendations as well as recommendations in the self-help industry. But this year, I really just branched out and read exactly what I wanted to. There was a lot of fantasy and fiction, and I think it just really helped not only me as a person, but my business overall as well. I think that this is great because books from different genres can actually provide very valuable insights into different character point of views, different scenarios that could come up in life. I think it's really great as the different point of views help me because I do lead generation, so I'm able to see how author writes different characters just as I ghostwrite for other people on social media. So it's been really valuable to me. And just the impact of reading diverse authors, a different variety of writing styles, a different variety of backgrounds. You're always going to learn a lot. And in this, I actually have binged YouTube channels, seeing other book recommendations, which is where I got the list of books I'm going to be reading or have read. And then as well, it has helped me be able to vocalize and create my own channel. All right, so I really think that books help with emotional connection. I know that there is a lot of overlap between books and TV shows or movies. And what I have found reading books I've also watched the TV show or movie of is the books actually explore the emotions a lot deeper. I think that it really helps improve mental health by relating to the characters. So going through trauma and reading about characters who are traumatized and how they deal with it, or just being able to see someone who's lonely and their inner thoughts around it, or someone who's going through a challenge and how they're overcoming it. And you see this in fiction books and fantasy books, and I think that it really has helped me not feel so alone in the world, as entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey, but reading the characters really start to feel like your friends. And being able to read about shared experiences and finding the solace and strength through reading has been great. So it's been amazing to really end the day with that. And like I said, I just find more of an emotional connection with books than TV because you're able to hear the person's thoughts, you're able to hear their emotions, how they feel about things, how things impact them. And a lot of times in books, there's multiple character POVs. And so that's really cool too, to see the story from different people's angles or their point of view. So some reading tools that I use that have really helped me up my reading, which I'll give you a little bit of background. I've always really loved reading since I was a kid, but through high school and college, I was always told what books to read, and this really killed my joy of reading. So last year in 2022, I did start to get into some fiction books, but before that, I was kind of just reading business or self-help books, and I would read maybe like one a month, but wasn't super into it, and kind of did it out of more obligation than the love of reading. So this year I really feel like I found my love of reading again, and I'm so excited for next year. I'll be making a whole video on what I want to read next year in 2024. But without further ado, Kindle really played a significant role of reading more books for me because I didn't have to go to the bookstore or physically go to the library or wait to order a book on Amazon. I was able to download content directly to my Kindle. I found a used Kindle on Poshmark for about $60, which when you go to the bookstore, I would say an average book is around $10 to $12. So that's about 6 books, and I read 31. So the Kindle really helped, and I'll give you more tips for how I have not spent any more money on books other than purchasing my Kindle. I think that this has been so great because I can carry my Kindle around with me when I'm going places. So if I am out and about and I am waiting on something or someone, I could just read my Kindle versus having, scrolling on my phone or whatnot. I brought it with me to sporting events. I've brought it with me when I'm like running errands or waiting on things, waiting on food. And just in general, like having one device you can bring around is so much easier. I have been traveling a lot between California and Washington, so I can only take a certain amount of things with me in my backpack and my suitcase, and oftentimes I travel for a, a month or so at a time. And so having the Kindle, I could read multiple books without stuffing my backpack full of books. And it's really handy because on the plane, you just take out your Kindle. And I've really enjoyed my Kindle experience. I couldn't recommend it enough. As you can access a wide range of books for free through Kindle. So on Kindle, if you are a Prime member, you get certain books for free. If you sign up for Kindle Unlimited, which is the next point I have here, that's also a really affordable option. I believe it's around $9 to $11 a month, and you get their whole library, and you get a free 3-month trial, I believe, when you buy a Kindle. So that's a really good option. Honestly, it kind of compares to a streaming service for TV or movies. Sometimes it's even cheaper. I know HBO is around $15 a month, so Kindle Unlimited kind of compares to that. And so what happens is you could download an unlimited amount of Kindle Unlimited books and then just return them when you are ready to do so. When you cancel your service, all the books are returned, but they have a pretty vast selection, as well as Amazon Prime. They have free books as well. So the other thing that I do is use Libby for ebooks, and this is primarily what I use. You get a card from your local library, and at this, you are able to download Kindle books or ebooks. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit if other people are reading them, so you just place a hold on them. But I've been able to do this very strategically, so I know exactly how many weeks I have to wait for the book, when I anticipate to read this book, and I have had no problem getting books through the library and through Libby, and it is 100% free. What I'd recommend through this is download multiple library cards if possible. I have 4 on mine. So I have one where I live, have one where I go quite often in Washington, and then I have 2 more cards that are connected to the libraries I already have. So that makes a difference too, because if a book is not available at one library, chances are it could be a shorter wait or even available at another library. And then the last thing I'll mention is Spotify Premium. So I've had a Spotify membership since I worked with Starbucks. It's no longer paid for. I actually pay for it. But it's something that was kind of a non-negotiable for me with music. And now they actually have audiobooks on Spotify. So if you like listening to books, this is a really good option. You can also listen to books through Libby. But with Spotify Premium, it's nice. I would say about 50% of the books I am looking to read are on Spotify Premium. So super nice service. The ones that aren't for free, you can purchase through Spotify, but that could be an alternative maybe to Audible. Audible is also a good service. I believe you pay another flat fee like Kindle Unlimited, and you get a certain number of credits to download audiobooks per month. But if you are a big listener, Spotify is the route to go, I believe. All right, so I'm going to list off some benefits I have found from reading, specifically for business and how it's impacted my work life. So I'm able to focus for extended periods of time now. Before, it was really hard. I work on social media doing lead generation, so my brain would be a little bit scattered and I would kind of jump from one platform to the other, always kind of be in that anxious state, where now by reading, I'm able to focus on one thing for a lot longer, because when you're reading, you're sitting down with one piece of material for a long period of time. And so I have noticed that by reading more, I actually have a longer attention span, which directly correlates to success in my business, because I am able to make content like this, as well as work on project-based work and get that done even quicker. I'm also expanding my mental horizons through literature. So being able to think of solutions to problems in different ways, see other people's point of view. When I do my Done For You lead gen service, I am oftentimes ghostwriting as my client. So it's really cool to read books from multiple point of views because that's kind of how I'm acting throughout the day. I'll have my brand voice for my business and then I switch on over to someone else's business. It's a whole new brand voice. So I think being able to read from multiple character point of views has really helped me with that skill to be able to do that. I also think it's been great for personal growth, not only the self-help books I've read, but also, like I said, the fiction books where characters are usually overcoming adversity. And it's really enhanced my imagination and creativity. A lot of times in these fantasy books, all different worlds are being built. Things are being built that you wouldn't even think of. And that's given me a lot of creativity in my business to be able to build something that no one else has. And that's what stands you apart from other people in your niche or your industry, is just having a really unique offer and a really unique way of relating to people. And now I'm going to go ahead and give you some of my favorite books from 2023 if you don't know where to get started or are just looking for some book recommendations in general. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I really enjoyed this book because there's so much diversity in it. We see people from different nationalities, different races, different gender identities. There is disability in the book, as well as just kind of growing up. So the characters start off and they are kids, and then it develops all the way through when they are adults. They build a business together, and the two main characters are never in a relationship together, but they have a lot of love for each other. And so it's just a beautiful work of art, kind of seeing how they weave in and out of each other's lives, what their journeys look like, and how they navigate the world and build a business at the same time. So I definitely recommend this book. I believe it won an award in 2022. So that's how I discovered it. Really, really great read. I've heard her other book is really good as well. So I would definitely recommend this. And then the next book I would recommend is The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This book was really good because you see the character, he has to solve this problem and he wakes up in a different body each day in order to do that. And I found it really, really fun to see his problem solving skills, to see how he was able to navigate different strengths and weaknesses and all of these people that he was being for the day and solve this crime. It really, really makes you think. And I just thought it was a great book for problem solving and seeing things from a different point of view. The next book I recommend is Night by Eli Wiesel. I don't think I'm saying his name right because it is not an English name, but this follows the journey of him as he was going through concentration camps during the Holocaust. It was such a fast read. I believe I read it in a day, and it just gave me so much respect for this man, as well as just seeing how you can overcome adversity no matter what's going on in your life right now. You look at his story and you recognize that you can overcome it. It also really deals with the topic of racism, obviously, because it is set during the Holocaust. And so just really bringing that to light these days with what's going on in the world and really being able to see how we can support each other and stand up for each other. The next book I'll recommend is the series A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, which is technically called, the series is called A Song of Ice and Fire. And Game of Thrones is the first book in it. And what I really admire about this series is all of the characters really start at such a terrible position in their life. And if you've watched the TV series, you'll see them grow throughout the journey. And the book dives even more into these character developments and really just seeing what power is, as well as how you can start off in just such a terrible position and find a way through it. I think that it is really telling what these characters go through when they are growing up and how they're able to interact together as well as solve some problems together and navigate loss, navigate uncertainty, navigate some pretty hard times. And so I think this series is very inspirational to draw on as a business owner and just as a person, and see like, oh, you could really go from nothing to a ruler, and seeing what leadership looks like in all these different versions through the characters' point of views. And I like that the chapters are told from different character point of views, so you can really see the inner workings of these people's minds. Last book I'll recommend is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Such a good book. It explores how a kid was taken to another country and really showed that he had to go to college and do all the things, and his life was kind of predetermined for him, even though what he was doing was hurting other places in the world. And through this, we kind of explore imperialism, we explore dark academia, we explore this character's journey as well as his loyalties. He gets to choose between being really loyal to this prestigious school that he got into because of his father, or he can choose to be a person who is really a leader and helps other people and doesn't destroy the world that they are building. And so it's very exciting. He's kind of playing a double agent, and you get to see where he ends up at the end of the book and what his bigger mission is in life. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was great as both a person and a business owner to really explore your values and look at things from a different point of view. So the character at first thinks like this school is like his number one dream, and then you slowly realize all the flaws in this plan. And so being able to look at your own life and really see, is there anything that I really believe in, and what would I be willing to risk to stick with that value? So I hope that this book list really helped you. I loved all of these books. I believe I gave them all a 5-star rating on Goodreads. So if you want to see more about my reading journey, my entrepreneurship journey, lead generation in general, which is the industry I'm in, please subscribe and like this video if you are also a reader and looking to read more in 2024, or if you enjoyed any of these book recommendations. Hope you have a good one, and see you in the next video.